Phoenix.
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 Phoenix Media.
Phoenix Media.
Phoenix Media.
I was in now Farouk Wahab or your international diplomatic consultant into about issues between foreign countries and Ghana and others are where you want in Batawakasa. Now the reaction in relation to the current issues that Ekosiisen South Africa where as usual as a Afia Fibian any South Africa ne omo abonsamfo sorry ne or more attacking other foreign nationals, especially more blacks, especially the Ghanaians, Nigeria, any other countries, no more bromo, eluti stores, ye pre-prebi, sometimes it may go extreme near share amount for near this time, as I saw a man who subim, and recently per videos I know, as a mostly more targeted Ghana for be a woman, I'm a good black the foreign minister. Or more starting make actions or the name of go will be a home quarter. We just same way because we Farouk Wahab etimi ache na adwo ho aja onso ebobo na adwen eko South Africa youth ni so chim say ho no abusia o se nyu bi na adwo adwumo akwadworo ye wo mo akwadworo na usually no omo as omo adwen so to a point say omo ban no is able to convince them say niam nko yi a enya aban ne fault na emum foreign nationals nti ono no and here my question be even though say you who say citizens in and I say the political leaders now almost move to an amount was usually politicians no more feel one so any inside South Africans no Emma or mu itimi kwashe chi yes and may itia other African nationals or na busia yenko na yenti Farouk Wahab ne some of the on the South Africa attacks and so Ekosiisen.
Okay. South Africa we can only conclude say almost a certain class of lazy people, laziness and because almost a juma. You know how Kwadwo Mcbrown Okumo. Obra knew Mcbrown. Then Namibia North Africa structured work. I Ghana for ye. A woman a baby salon and a salon. A juma be no the South African doctor. Ghanaian doctor Akoji and also engineer Ghanaian engineer Akoji. All those foreign European overseas workers are South African. Most of them women are from different countries no Mukoe. And that one is international recruitment, job placement, international recruitment. It happens everywhere. But I don't know what is the margin. Very minimal margin and on war that system needs to be South Africa. But then let's ask ourselves, South African industries or Ghana, South African mining companies or Ghana, you can't fund them. So many of them. Ukoya Ghana, your president, your oil rig, Takwade rig, and so. Go and check just a diver on your Brazilian with South Africa. How much are they making an hour? They make as much as almost about $1,000 an hour. Oh, Kuma, you are all South Africans. And she, you can't be a Kwadwo be a Juma. Then in Sebeka Shama for they know how to swim. You are a diver, or bit my Shama and Yanko. Pipe diver, your friends, the plumbing divers, and etc. You are from the South Africa for the Juma rigging. So, and this is not something as he has also. Meaning that the South African government of the ANC since 1994, after Mandela exited in 1999, till today, it is the practice for them to tell their nationals, which is nonsense. Because you Juma ANC companies are what apart from the number from Wode that. You road ANC abayan for apart from the above from Bayan that. When we railway the piano, the above and one at all. So Jumana, you can only talk say restaurants and then labor work. And a Bruni and answer Indian, most predominantly the Indian. I'm find a Juma and South African black because Obaba Biviano and I said, only issue be on Kwaku vandalizing the fee and on be reading the fee. So they don't even have the trust in them to begin with. Apart from the fact that you and I so we are for. Apart from the fact that the South African black nationals and not the South Africans make us or before no South Africa. And someone near Kosono, do not send Yachi Bruni. Yachi Indian and answer any other race, as they call it, apart from any woman area. It is unfortunate. Can't it be our South African be a national piano, maybe piano. Unless Mubabisa Omo and Durban and Cape Town and your friend is saying Port Alfred and St. Elizabeth. Omo ko people French for Congolese Cameroon for April maybe. Then they've done that to Gabonese nationals. Omo are very few. Eko Bubi. Then they've done to Nigeria back to back about 3 times. On the Buhari, the last time Buhari and Ibia or Palm South African High Commissioner. So don't addressing the issue. Because Nigerians, they cannot guarantee their safety. Our High Commission over Abuja in Lagos. You understand me? Now, this time around, your friendly nation or your friend, our non-idea, Ghana and our appetite. Say, we are against appetite. And then Ghana went ahead even to declare in our passport, protested that a human, the Bantu's land of South Africa, Ghana passport in now. We did that. No country did that in this world except Ghana. And Ekobana said, all our successive governments, both the military and the civilian alike, all of them supported the agenda of the South Africa ANC to have a self-determination government. And then Ghana for Yawa, and I said, then Omaya, the Ghana Susobeka, adding to the profile of countries already know more Sadian. And I was just saying to one of your sister radio stations there, to be a new question South Africa, Kwaku, and you a torture national, and cry in Mozambique. So all the frontline states in India, you're talking about the part of Angola, which is not that very much, but then the Namibia side, the Zambian side, the Botswana side, the Zim side, Zimbabwe, and then Mozambique. Except Mozambique, the Botswana as well. Because you come a better South Africa. But all these countries are lining up as a frontline system. South Africa, ANC benefited from this country. They benefited from the political system, what is called Politburo, which in West, in other words, diplomatic as a political bureau, political office. All their Politburos were in the frontline states during the struggle of the ANC. I a brand new a terrorist organization. A country, no other country than Mozambique. Only independent in 1975, Samora Machel, he destined his life and everything and put and allow ANC to live, to stay. It got to a point. Only the senior Adom Portuguese. Are they Portuguese? Because they stayed there. And their politics until they came to power when Mandela was released in 1990. Before swimming free as a labor. So started from this scenario. Mary Makeba wa metna krom hasi. Ghana finance ambassador hotel room hotel room. Our new Kroma be 6 months. Who was she? Why was she here? The massacre of metna Kroma during the ANC struggle. All of them have had their fair share of succeeding and then having chances to live in countries during the time of the ANC struggle. It's a woman who benefited being a refugee, who benefited being in a country now a citizen. You were not, you are outclassed, outgraded. They were not part of the Citizenship Act in South Africa. Go and check. Their Land Act, they were not part. Their Population Act, they were exempted out of their population and called them a race. Anybody born at that time in South Africa, even their birth certificate, it was written up as a black South African, a race. So go and define it. How many countries fought boldly for eradication and then stop of apartheid? Ghana, you can't leave Ghana name out of it. And you say, and then more grievances, more economic woes. Now if you said Ghanaian nationals, how many of them? South Africa Ghanaians, they won't be up to 10, 15, 20,000. Nigerians, of course, their numbers are quite big. But so about 20,000. How many South Africans were in Botswana? How many South Africans were in Zambia? How many South Africans were living in Zimbabwe? How many of them were living in Zimbabwe for? So where because they gave you a house, they gave you a home, they gave you a sleeping place in Zimbabwe when the ANC members could not live in their country. So it is not fair, but then it has to be tackled not in a diplomatic sense. It has to be tackled in a radical diplomatic reformative sense, which means that when it happens like that, expel the ambassador and then recall your ambassador back to your country. While order is restored, we are sure how they react to it diplomatically, because at the end of the day, talk show, nothing that they are going to do I'm told and I've heard from your sisters that Ramaphosa Pharaoh about the man, state of the nation. We need to be of them. There's nothing that is going to, because we're not now look at it. The white supremacist government, so-called the apartheid government, they never attacked any foreigner in South Africa during the time. How much more the ANC? How much more the ANC? Now ANC cried and Kwaku and BC Africans. But look at the introduction of the visa regime, resident permit. This will be a who will remember South Africa. Home of visa resident permit, as many as 20 different work permits. Now one country and the working permit, and that's all one resident permit. 2 or 5 number passport back home. In a different way, because everyone who creates $500, $1,000, $2,000 for every category of the different passports, a different resident permit. For what? Point the good name of extorting money from the government. I mean, you don't do that. You don't do that. And where it's coming from? It's coming from the fact that Omonu is ungrateful. It emanates from the fact that they've forgotten the history, and their politicians do not tell the youth the history, how it got, they got here. Now you can say from 1994, from 1990 Mandela was let loose from the prison. 1994 up to today, you're talking about 32 uninterrupted years in government. So those boys not be studying today, no. You can marginally say now only Obra. So if they are now come, they've come of age, the history is not deleted. Okay. Not say that they didn't know that they lived in the segregation and apartheid system, and which country supported them. So if today, who you assume they can, everybody wants to come to South Africa, every African wants to come to South Africa. Who says that the right of living and the right of stay, right of work, because Durban, that the African has that kind of. Okay.